Do you find it easier to drive 2 cars or to tow one? We're missing something.
Yeah, thankfully, in the handful of years we've been doing this, we have not had any major issues. But what I did do, it sounded like a shotgun going off.
I'd say your setup's probably maybe a little bit different since you full-time, because this is everything you own.
It is. So this is great. Goes up there, and I can easily reach across.
So if you guys have noticed, like everybody else is backed in, and then of course the Dentons have to be special.
But on a stay that's more than 48 hours, we always use hydraulics. It still makes the RV more stable.
How long does it take you to set up? What do you think, Dana?
Less than 10 minutes.
We recently went camping with some of our base camp members, and we interviewed 4 different couples, one with a Class C, a 5th wheel, a travel trailer, and a Class A, just to see how they actually set up at camp. Because if you're anything like us, you've probably wondered at some point, am I doing this right? Is there some order I'm supposed to follow? Or some better way everyone else knows about? So we wanted to see, does everyone really have their own system? Or are we basically doing the same thing, just a little bit differently? And what we found might actually take a lot of that pressure off. And don't think your teardown routine isn't just as important, because one RVer shared a mistake that could have gone really wrong, and it's probably something you'll want to double check before pulling out.
All right, so we were camping this weekend, and we were here with some of our O&A base camp members, and you guys are?
Stephen and Luann Hill from Georgia.
We're going to walk around their camper. We're going to show, they're going to show us how they set up and kind of what their walkthrough process is. And then they're also going to show us what to look out for to make sure that's in before you leave.
Absolutely, let's go over it.
I mean, I think the little camper like this would be awesome for the simple fact that you can go anywhere with it, and you can park it in pretty much a parking spot.
You can, and we like the part of being able to go pretty much anywhere, and she likes driving it as well, so it makes it easier to drive and get around.
Show me what you guys do on your walk around. Like, what are the things you guys look for?
First, get on the lot. One of the first things I do is I have a leveler that's on the inside. It's an app, and so I'll turn the level app on, and when I do that, it'll tell me whether I'm level from passenger or driver side, front and back. And then from that, we found, like when we arrived on this site, we were low on the driver's side. So we put out our blocks and get it level from there. And then after that, we'll go from the rest of the hookups. But want to make sure we're level first.
So it's like one of those deals, it's probably pretty neat. It's like once you've kind of leveled it and you know, like when you look at your app, like how many, because I see you're on blocks.
Right.
You kind of figure out pretty quick how many blocks you need to be out to get yourself
pretty close, yeah. If I see where it's just got a, if I'm in the green, just one block, and sometimes I won't move it at all. It's close enough. But if it's yellow or red, if it goes just barely touching red, I have to have 2 blocks.
The thing is when it's like the worst night sleep ever, if you try to sleep on level. Have y'all tried to sleep on level?
No. We've been lucky so far. We had one location where I left and went to Home Depot, and I got them to cut up some 2x6s, and we had to put those underneath and then put the jacks on, or blocks on top of those, because it was so unlevel. We couldn't make it level with the blocks we had.
As far as everything else is like, what's your kind of like, what are your must-haves when you set up? What do you guys go through as far as setup goes?
I'll take a look and see where the sewer is, because that's my most limited thing, is having the sewer hose. And so I'll get that where it needs to go first and get that set up.
So you got your sewer hookup, and then is that when you guys figure out your water situation, and then electric?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Once we get the sewer, most of the time all the utilities are on the same side, and this is a different setup. So when we initially pulled in, I backed in on the other side, and then I realized my sewer was over here. So we had to turn around and move and get where we needed to go. So I always want to make sure of that.
So we got your sewer set up, and you're using the, I don't know what you call that thing, but the sewer hose holder.
Right.
Then you go water. You do water next or electric next?
Either or, it just depends on where it's at, because on this particular site we had to move those over, and so I didn't want it to be under the sewer hose, so I put the electric in first before I did the water, and then did the water right behind it. Just because of how it was laid out on this particular.
So then when you do all that, is that when you let Luann loose on the inside?
Absolutely.
Or do you let her loose while you're doing all the outside stuff at the same time?
I try to help out outside.
Yep.
I don't know. I like learning how to hook everything up, watching him, learning, and just a quicker process if I'm out here working with him.
One of the best things too is for the electric, we use the Power Watchdog. And so we know that the electric coming in is going to be safe for us to put it on our unit, because we want our unit to last. So we do that first, and she did that yesterday to turn it on and make sure it was good. So she does help with making sure that works and getting ready to hook it up.
Well, I talked about this a couple of videos ago, that people will buy a really inexpensive surge protector, which will keep you from a surge, but doesn't protect you from low voltage.
Right.
And low voltage is almost as hard on stuff as high voltage. So, good job.
So yeah, we're
missing something.
Yeah. Our next step normally would be, can we put our awning out? Is it safe, and can we do it? Do we have enough room? And
Is it too windy or not too windy?
right. So we look at those things.
Obviously, it's missing.
Yeah.
Just makes it easier to wash.
It does make it easier to wash. So yeah, and the challenge, I guess, really when you go to put it up, is don't take any shortcuts. Always go around and just, if you have a check off, go ahead and go through the full check off. No matter if you're just moving for a few minutes, go ahead and do that. And that's what we were doing when we took our awning off, was just moving short term.
Well, I always joke, like when we do our walk around, I feel like I'll walk around and then I'll I might move the camper a little bit, then I'll walk around, and then when I stop and get fuel, I'll walk around. And I feel like when we're moving our camper, I probably get my 12,000 steps walking around my camper, just looking for stuff. And I think the big thing is the more you walk around and the more you look at your camper, the more you know where things are supposed to be. And then you have the deal like, why is that door open, or why is that valve this way, and you start noticing those little things, and it really saves you just, from knocking your awning off. So you're in a Class C, and I noticed you drove 2 cars today, or this weekend, but have y'all ever towed?
We have, and we'll tow her car with us from time to time. And so when you get to the site, the first thing you have to do is detach the car and the tow dolly before you can back in, because you can't back with that. So that we do have to think about that. In how are you going to pull up to the site? How tight is it outside of the site? So those are things that we think about too.
Do you find it easier to drive 2 cars or to tow one?
Prefer to tow one.
Yeah.
Because like yesterday, we were seeing beautiful things, and we were having to get on the phone and talk with each other as we're going down the road, versus
We
just
like
hey,
being
look at
together.
that. See, we were coming back from the New England tour, and sun was going down, and we didn't want to stop, and so she was able to sit there on the side in the booth, and she was getting the sun going down. It was just beautiful scenery. We love being in that part together, and it's that's the whole thing about the RV, is we get to be together and enjoy our time together, and so it's the beautiful thing about it.
Awesome. And I had one question: the sunshade. Can you cook bacon with that?
Can you? Maybe. We haven't tried that yet. If we get it not underneath the hangover, but I'm pretty sure on the other part you could.
Does it help a lot with keeping the heat out of the camper?
It does.
Yes.
So it does. We have a couple of things that we did initially have a privacy curtain, and so that became the privacy curtain for us, so that you could block light out and gave you privacy. So that's when we go set up the inside, the next thing we do is a privacy curtain. So it's kind of double covered. So it's a good thing to have that.
Yeah, where do you store these massive chairs in your? And I know I'm not saying this to be insulting, but your small camper.
So we do have a good compartment here on the back passenger side, and we're able to fold the chairs up. We actually have a grill that we carry with us and a flat top, and we can I have a jackery in there for if we need to have a plug-in somewhere not close to the camper. Or charger.
If anyone's buying a Class C, not that you've owned one, any advice?
Get the slide.
Get one with the slides in it.
Then last question, and this is the $1 million question, and you go straight to jail if you don't answer this correctly. What do you think of base camp?
We like that you guys are in the same phase of life that we're in. The distance that we can travel is not too far because we are full-time employed, and we are very limited. And so it's just nice meeting like-minded people who are in the same phase in life that we're in.
You find the community
nice.
pretty friendly
Yes.
and helpful?
Yes,
There's
we have
always
conversations. We have conversations sometimes daily with people on the channel. It's nice.
Yeah.
And the question will come up, and you're like, I hadn't thought of that. And so it's so helpful to have somebody going through something, and someone else pitches in, well, I do this, or I do that when I'm camping, and it helps us when we go through it. So, yeah, we love that part.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us, and
Absolutely.
thanks for being a part of base camp with us.
Thanks
All
for
right.
hosting.
So I'm standing here with some other base camp members, and they are pulling a travel trailer. And who are you guys, and where are you from?
Logan Knight, we're from outside of Little Rock, Arkansas, a little town called Bauxite.
Nicole Knight.
And then y'all have a travel trailer, and you pull it with this beautiful truck, who I have affectionately nicknamed Thomas, for Thomas the Train, because they have ordered a new fifth wheel, and he thinks he's going to pull a 38-foot fifth wheel with this little train that thinks he can. So in the comments, give Logan all the towing advice for a 38-foot Alliance. What is it?
Avenue. 35
Avenue.
RKS.
Will this truck pull it? The more comments that you direct at Logan, the better.
We'll take all the advice we can get because he's given me his fair share.
So when you guys get in and we're backing in, what is the first thing that you do on your setup?
So we'll level side to side first, and then I'll unhook and level front to back. And then we typically start with power first, and then we'll go to sewer and water. I have a hard time doing sewer because of the slide. You know, just one slide, but it is a pretty big slide. And the discharges are right on the front side and the back side. So it makes it difficult to run lines depending on where your connection is. So kind of like Jarrett was saying, sometimes I will connect them and just leave them laying there. But I don't let the slide out until I get all that hooked up. And then Nicole and our daughter who's inside, they will then go inside and turn the ACs on and start doing everything on the inside. I'm not a big fan of the 2 discharges, but it is what it is. But that makes the setup a little bit longer, a little more difficult.
So your new camper is going to have 2 discharges.
It will. They're kind of in the same spot. We'll be fighting the same issues. So I'm sure the process with that one will be the same, although it has, as Jarrett calls it, auto stabilization. It's not really auto level, but at least we won't have the manual jacks. That would be obviously a part of the process with a travel trailer. I use a drill like so many people do. I'm not going to get underneath there and crank it by hand, but that's the last thing I do. After I have left and right and front to back, and then this other stuff, I'll go ahead and set those down. And I don't really put much pressure on them. We just set them down and give it a little push, and that's it.
Well, one thing you're going to notice about your new fifth wheel, and ours has it, is like when you put your auto stabilization down, you know, it takes the bounce out. You probably still get quite a bit of bounce in this one.
We do.
You get rid of the bounce. I mean, because yours is 4-point coming up on a new one.
It is.
You'll still get the rock, but you won't get the bounce.
And I've heard, and Jarrett knows way more about this stuff than I do, but I've heard that the further you extend these down, then it's less stable. So I've always been told the shorter you can actually make these as far as the contact, so you would put the leveling blocks, which I have a ton of those. I have done that depending on the site, but if I'm on a nice level concrete pad like this and there's not much length, we have the snap pads on the bottom, and I shoot them down and just go with it like that. But I have been told the shorter length that you push those down, you build your blocks up, it makes it more stable. So we've done all of the leveling. I've either dropped the sewer lines or went ahead and hooked those up. The power on this one is at the rear.
Yes,
Actually, a lot of Alliance products, I think, are at the rear, if I'm not mistaken. But that'll be the first thing, then sewer, and then water.
When do you put your X-shocks in?
So I will do those before I disconnect the truck. So I'll do the side to side if I have to have blocks, or I use the, help me out, the Anderson. Is it the Anderson?
The one you drive up on?
Yeah, it rolls it up. So I use those, or I'll use the blocks. After I get that done, then I will set those and then drop the tongue and unhook from the trailer and then do my front to back.
Looks like you use the same TPMS that I use.
I do, and I've actually had those on all 3 of our trailers, that same system. I like them. It's simple. It works. The only thing I did have to do when we bought this trailer was it has the repeater. Is that correct?
Yep.
So I had to put a repeater on it because it was too long, and I had horrible signal on the little box on the dash. So I did buy the repeater and hook it up, and it works great.
People after their own heart, you have a lot of stuff out. So at what point do you start pulling your stuff out?
So typically that's where Nicole and our daughter, after I have it leveled and the sewer hooked up and power, they'll go inside, turn the ACs on, get a few lights on, make sure nothing's falling or anything crazy's went on in the transport. And then they'll hop in the front bay and start pulling out chairs and tables. We did just acquire the e-bikes, so that was something new for us. We love them, but we do not have a rack. So for this trip particularly, we put those inside. We put 2 on our bed and 1 between the wall and the bed.
Wow.
Not the greatest idea, but they made it here, no damage, nothing happened.
So what do you think of the electric bikes?
We love them. We love them. The only thing, if I'm being completely honest, the seats are horrible.
Yeah.
So Jarrett has sent us a link for some new seats that we're going to order when we get back, and we're going to replace all 3 of those. But other than that, the bikes are they're a blast. Absolute blast.
Now I warned you when you bought the bike. I said get the better seat.
You did, and
try 'em out.
he's gotten to know me a little bit. He may give me that advice, but I'm going to try it anyway. And then if I don't like it, I'll go ahead and change it.
So you like spending money twice.
I have a bad habit of doing that, yeah. or 4 times when it comes to travel trailers. So our 5th wheel will be our 4th one in 5 years.
Now Logan, I'm just going to pick on you here for a second. You spend all this money on this camper, and you have the shittiest little surge protector.
I knew that was coming. Yeah.
Oh, Jared, come on, be nice.
It's because I like buying them 2 or 3 times. So I'm going to buy another one.
It does not protect you from low voltage.
No, and very true. And I think when we get the 5th wheel, we're definitely going to look into something better for sure.
Nicole's like, make sure you, and Logan's like, I'm already going to talk about it.
So there's a story, and thankfully, in the handful of years we've been doing this, we have not had any major issues. We haven't tore awnings off or anything. But what I did do, this was last fall, we forgot to take these out.
Wait, what?
I forgot to take these out.
Oh, I bet that sucker pulled hard.
It did, but despite what Jarrett says about my truck, it was able to take the trailer off, and it just completely blew the X-Chocks apart. And it sounded like a shotgun going off, scared the crap out of me. And I stopped, came out and looked, and we realized we left those on there, and I tried to take off to leave, and we left just one on this side, and it completely tore it apart. Luckily, it didn't damage the trailer or anything, so don't forget to take your X-Chocks out.
So that leads me into, what does your walk around process like? So we're going to do the inverse of this, which is probably pretty much the same. But we're just going to skip fast forward. We've unhooked the water, we've unhooked the sewer, everything's put away. When you pull off, what does your walk around look like?
I just want to say something real quick, Logan. You're really good at looking at the lens, unlike Jarrett. So can we get a close-up of you looking right into the lens? Great job.
I would recommend, whether you're going to your site or leaving your site, if it's more than a couple hour drive, stop 30 minutes or an hour out and just check everything, make sure everything's good.
Or another great time to do is when you're getting gas.
Yeah,
True,
we
we do that, and I think he mentioned in some videos before. I have the little temperature gun, and I'll go around and check the bearing temperatures. I have no idea what they're supposed to be, but I'm smart enough to know if they're hot, then I got a problem. And the Time8 tire pressure sensor also has the temperature of your tire beside the air pressure, so I think that's a little pretty neat thing.
And I'll say that, I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people think because tire temperature, it doesn't tell you the bearing temperature. No. And that's not the same thing. So, and I'm like, Logan, I don't know what the temperature is supposed to be on your bearings, but if they're all 100 degrees and you got one that's 160, you need to investigate.
Typically speaking, unless it's 110 degrees and we're traveling a 12-hour trip, the tire temperature is usually within about 25 degrees of the bearing temperature. I don't know how fast the bearings cool off by the time you get into your gas pump or whatever you're doing, but I found that they're usually within about 25 degrees of each other.
There you go. Good to know. All right, Logan, Nicole, what do you think of base camp?
We've enjoyed the heck out of it. We try to be as involved as we can. We're just part-timers, weekenders, but we're at our first meetup with them. It's been a blast getting to know people.
And you don't use a lot of social media, do you?
We have zero. I have zero social media. I have a linked account which relates to my work. No, we have no social media. So when we were watching their YouTube channel and ran across Val's video for the base camp, and I immediately joined right then and there, sitting in my office at home. I joined, paid, and we try to be a part of the calls, and we want to make as many trips as we can.
We learned a lot and a lot of places to go.
Yeah.
And we don't know. So unless we're going to Hilton Head in August because of y'all. And
Y'all have made some friends.
yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we
Yes,
love
we
to.
have. I don't know if we should name names, but there's been some pretty cool people on this trip. Everybody will probably figure out who they were, but the group that came on this trip's been a blast.
I think when you RV, you tend to kind of stay to yourself a lot of times if you're not RVing with people.
Yeah.
And then when you kind of get into the community and you kind of know people, it makes it a lot easier. Like, we're all.
Everybody's been welcoming.
Yeah.
So you guys have been welcoming, and it's great.
Well, we've really appreciated you guys being as involved as you've been and getting to know you guys. Thank you guys so much for doing this.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. So tell us who you are. Tell us what state you're from. Tell us about you. Who are you?
I'm Jeff,
Michelle.
and we're from Colorado, only full-time on our RV.
I thought you were from Mississippi.
She's originally from Mississippi, but we consider Colorado our home.
So you guys are full-time campers.
Yes, we are.
And you're damn near walking in this truck here.
Yeah, well, we wanted something that would tow it. It's a 40-foot 2018 Volano 369 FB, and we got the 450 basically because of the turning radius on this. We love how she really handles, especially when backing into things.
I noticed this morning y'all did 4 laps around the campground, so you walk a lot that way when you're on the side of the road and you're walking for help.
Yeah.
It's not such a
It's not such a stretch.
right. Like you're all limbered up for the day and ready to go.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
Ready for it to break down.
I say that as I'm in a new truck because my other truck got bought back from Ram. So here you go. So it makes fun.
There you go.
I'd say your stuff's probably maybe a little bit different since you full time because this is everything you own, essentially.
It is.
What's the first thing you guys do when you've backed into the site? Like where do y'all?
Before we actually back in, we try to figure out where the sewers are, if there's anything that the slides are going to hit. You have to watch the low ones too. For instance, you've got the where the power hooks up. If you have a slide like this, if you're too close, you'll hit that too. So we like to pay attention to that. Our cord reel, our electrical cord happens to be in the middle of the rig. Very often the pedestals are at the back, so we want to make sure that we're back far enough to do it so you're not hooking up and then realizing you're about a foot short, have to hook up again.
Well, I think last night when we were talking, I think that's you probably pay attention to more to that than most. Because like if I come in a site and I'm not counting her the way I want, it's not that big of a deal because I'm probably going to leave in a few days.
Right.
And you guys are typically at a place for a month, so you want to make sure that you get in there exactly
We're
like
good. Yeah, you have to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's an interesting point. So when you go through, you do your sewer. Everybody makes fun of me for saying sewer. Sir. I say it like probably like you do. So doing your sewer hookups. And this is kind of a weird campground that we're in because it was designed for motorhomes, and so all of our power and water is on the wrong side of the camper. So you guys use I don't even know what you call that thing. I know what it is, but I don't even know what you call it.
Oh, the support.
Yeah.
I have them. I never use them.
We do it because we like to get it off the ground, and I like to put like a P-trap in there, just so we don't get any sewer flies that come up in it.
Honestly, if I was in this site and knowing who your neighbors are, I would have probably just left my just on the hose on the ground.
Just let it run?
Yeah.
Not even hook it up to the other end.
No, just like, why's our site stinking? I don't know. So we're going through, you're getting all set up. I do notice that you guys put the head knocker, is that from experience?
That is from, I could probably show you the scars, and trust me, without a hat, you feel it. The thing that we use, though, that was different, this is a pipe insulation.
So it's not a pool noodle?
No, it's not. Pool noodles will fade, we found that out. And this already has a slit in it, which is nice. So you slap it up in there, and they're cheap enough to do. But yeah, we have them on all the corners.
How often do you replace these?
Once a year, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they withstand the weather.
They withstand the weather. I mean,
They blow off
sometimes
every once
they may blow off because they tend to get a little wide right here.
I got you.
But, you get one noodle and you cut off the ends and you got your protection there and there. So it works.
This video is sponsored by our friends over at Liquefied, and we're talking about Liquishine. So when you get to the campground and your old rig looks like a dirty old turd, all you need to do is get that lint off there, or that dust, that pollen, and you can just polish this old turd right up. And it's just about that easy. One step with the rag to apply it, another drying rag, and this old turd looks good. This stuff will work as good on your truck as your camper. Let's be honest, they're both turds that need polishing, so sometimes you just got to do it. And if you're wondering why I'm talking about turds, it's because this is sponsored by Liquefied.
So I look at where the ground is, because if there's a lot of mud and everything, I don't want to be at the very edge here, because then I'm waddling around in the mud, trying to get out my sewer hose and everything else. So that's why I try and give myself at least, a foot or two here of space. And like when we first backed up, this bush was right in front of the door. So even though the slides cleared, I couldn't get the door open. So you have to pay attention to all that.
Now let me ask you this, we don't have to get in your bay, but like what I find, like how I camp, like all of my sewer hoses, I have to really focus on that one, water hoses, electrical cord, all my stuff is for basically what I call like the hookup stuff is in this bay right inside this door. I have seen people where they just kind of put it in wherever, and I think, oh man, so it just seems like miserable. It's probably what Mark does. He doesn't seem very smart, so.
Well, he's probably from Kentucky then. So that's all right. We'll let him stay. But we mount our sewer hoses here so nothing goes in the bay, and we got a 13-footer and two 10-footer, so we'll pretty much reach anything that you can imagine.
So you use the tubes like I have under mine. I like that too, because like you don't have a bumper. Like some of the travel trailers have the bumper where you can slide your hoses in.
We do, but if it gets crimped or anything, it's kind of tough to get it in and out. Plus, I can't get 3 hoses in there. So that's why we did that. I only have it to where it's accessible from this side. The other side, I put a zip tie on, so no one will nonchalantly happen to take that off.
I've done the same thing, and I just use the little carabiners, the stainless. I used to buy the stainless carabiners because road grime and salt and just crap just destroys them. So after you got your sewer hooked up, we've got is water next? Is that what you do for water?
While Michelle's inside getting everything ready there, I'm usually outside putting out the mat. We used to do the big mats and all the chairs and everything else. Then we realized when you're full-time, you just got what you need. And so we got a smaller mat. We have the table, and then we have a table back there that I can throw the grill on. And we have the Blackstone set up. So this is pretty typical how we go.
Is that a magnet?
No, that's Velcroed on. So we did this because when we had the dog, we just make sure to shut that off, but just slap it on there and we're good to go. And they're solar powered. So nighttime, and it lights up pretty well.
So LEDs?
Yeah, and it's nice and bright. So as you're walking up to their motion sensor.
So I noticed you also use X-Chocks.
Yes.
Do you put it's like when you're going through, like on your unhooking, you put your X-Chocks in first, or is that kind of like one of the last things you do, or at what point do you put your X-Chocks?
After I unhook from the truck, before the slides come out, that way I can get underneath there, I'll go ahead and put the X-Chocks on, then we'll bring the slides out.
And then your hydraulic leveling.
Hydraulic leveling, 6-point.
So does that make it pretty easy?
Oh yeah, push a button, auto. It goes through the dance where the nose goes down, comes up, does the sides, and then stops blinking. It's wonderful. I love it. You can fine tune it if you need to, but she's pretty good at it. Oh, one of the things I always do first, I put in I plug my surge suppressor in here, or my EMS, to make sure that the pedestal's good, because I don't want to get all set up, plug it in, and then find out that it's not working or there's an open ground, things like that. So that goes plugged in first. Flip it on, make sure that it reads.
Now, what brand is that? Because I've not seen this one.
Progressive. The two big ones. Progressive was one of the first ones that came out. That one's probably about.
So the Watchdog is made by Progressive Industries.
If I were to redo it now, I'd probably get the Watchdog just because I can go ahead and do it on the phone and I can see a lot of more information on there. This one doesn't, but it's been good. It stopped us quite a few times from getting zapped.
Getting back on track. So at what point do you get to go in and start putting your stuff out?
Right away. As soon as he hooks up the electricity, I go in and
fire up the AC.
fire it up.
Yeah.
The air condition for sure. Yeah.
Well, you're kind of a tool, so what kind of tool are you getting out? Oh, yeah, that's because you're old and crippled and you can't reach up there and...
After I broke a rib once, all it takes is one break. But if you come over here, then very often you'll get up here and then put your foot up there and you reach across to unhook your fifth wheel. I did that once, fell down, broke my ribs right on the side there. Oh, yeah. So this is great. It goes up there, and I can easily reach across, and it's much, much safer, and it's strong.
That's great.
So the thing that I just got out of this that we're going to have to address.
Here it comes.
Michelle backs in the camper?
No. When we're going ready to leave, she'll back it up to hook up the camper.
Oh, okay.
No, I still back it up.
Oh,
nice try, though.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to say, boy, you just lost your man card.
Like I said, nice try.
Well, we have other members, David and Christy Simcox. I believe she's the one that pulls
Really?
the camper, and then David parks the camper. Do you drive?
On the interstate, I can.
Okay, good. There you go. Since you typically stay somewhere for a month, when you leave, what does that walk around, putting away process look like? Because in a month, you have time to basically get everything you own out.
You do, but even if you go for a weekend, what you see out is pretty much what we have out. The bikes go on the bike rack, the grill gets put away, the Blackstone gets put away, so the smoker and the Blackstone, tables get put up. I try and do things the night before at least, especially like the mats, things like the tablecloth. Very often they're wet underneath there, so I try and dry those off. There's nothing worse than putting things away wet, because at the next stop you take it out and it's
mildewy.
It's not comfortable.
Yeah. I always kind of get that, like when you open, and I have the tubes where I put my hose in, and when you open them up to get your stuff out, it doesn't matter. It's like, whoof.
Yeah.
That mildew smell that just rushes. It's like
it hits you.
Yeah, you're like, all right. So we're asking everybody who's doing these videos with us, what do you think of base camp? So how long have you guys been in base camp? When did you guys come along?
About a month after you started it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we try and make all the meetings online because you get to see people, and you pick up little bits and pieces here and there, like, oh, I just came from this campground. Then you can say, hey, how was it? What'd you think? So yeah, I'm enjoying it myself.
Y'all find everybody to be pretty friendly and helpful?
Oh, very much.
Very.
Yeah.
What we find is, especially with base camp, the more people are involved, the more they like it.
Like anything.
Yeah.
You make it what it is.
Yeah.
And if you, we're here because of you too. We like your channel. You're what you appear to be on YouTube as you are in person.
That's smart ass.
They're
This is
real
a compliment
people.
to Val, not to you. So.
Guys, thank you so much for doing
Absolutely.
this, and more importantly, thank you guys for coming out and spending the weekend with us.
Thanks for having us.
We're
Yeah.
having fun.
It's either Senna or
Senna.
Cena.
Okay, what are we doing? What? This is your biking
This
helmet?
is the biking helmet, and right here there's a microphone.
Oh my
And
gosh.
you've got your speakers right here, so that we can still hear things around you. I'll
Okay.
go ahead and just put that on.
Oh,
I'll put it on you. I'll put it on you.
can Jarrett's mic hear us already?
Yeah.
Oh, talk again.
Hi, Valerie.
Hi, Jarrett. This is weird. What's even happening? So as we're riding,
So are these Bluetooth? Is that what they are? But you said they'll go a mile?
They'll go about a mile. That's what they say that they will, but I'm sure this park here would be able to.
this
handle
is
it.
great because you get way ahead of me, and I'm like, he left me, but we were riding to the Gulf Shores beach, and you got way ahead, and I wanted to see the eagles, and I stopped and looked at the eagles, and he left me behind, and now I can say, slow down, man.
And I can say, hurry up, woman.
The echo's weird.
It is.
I love these.
You have a volume outside and everything. Yeah,
How is this Bluetooth?
Yeah, and so you'll have a volume button when he's talking, but if you feel, there's 3 buttons here.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm pushing
that's
one.
the volume up,
Oh,
and then the one on the bottom is your volume. That's not it, but go down
Oh.
one more. Right
Okay.
there, that's your volume down.
okay.
And so I just want to point out that Jeff has to sleep in one of these at night.
Well, he was making fun of you because it wouldn't even fit your big old Kentucky head.
And it comes with the gold colored visor. It has
Yeah.
that snaps off. You can put on a black one. They
Okay.
make all different types.
Now,
this one
what
is
do
designed
these
for
run?
e-bikes. This one,
Oh.
they're about 200 apiece.
Ooh.
Yeah, but we tried the Bluetooth in the ear, and
Okay.
it does block your ears and everything.
Okay.
But they make them more for like 5 different versions for sporting bikes. This one was designed for e-bikes, but I like it because it has. If it rains, no water's going to go through the holes. in
Yeah,
there or
and I
anything
can
else.
keep my hair looking
Keep
nice.
Your hair looking beautiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you for showing us these.
Yeah,
That was
that's
great.
kinda neat.
No, that's something I've never seen before, and maybe y'all have never seen it too. Let's go get the last RV walk around.
All right, we are here with the Shit Don't Stink Dentons.
I'm glad I'm famous.
We got Dancing Brad and Dancing Dana. Y'all have seen them in the corners of the videos. We have the audience behind us that are going to give us a golf clap.
I'm set. I'm ready to go.
We're all settled in. So if you guys have noticed, like everybody else has backed in, and then of course the Dentons have to be special. When I grow up, I want to be like Brad. I mean, I'm just saying. But you pull in. So this, like I said earlier in the video, this resort is actually set up as a motor coach resort. And so for everyone else, we've had to drag our utilities, water and electric, underneath the campers to get to the power.
Yep.
Your power's on the correct side. But when you pull in, what's the first thing? So we'll get beyond that. What's the first thing you guys?
So I'll do the best I can to get us where we want to be. Dana will get out. If she thinks we need to make any corrections, we will. I only had to make one correction as far as squaring up to the left side of the pad. While I start the process of dumping the bags and leveling the coach, Dana will go out and put the chalks under the height.
So you give her the most hard, dangerous part of the job. Do you not love your wife?
I do love my wife. But until the engine's off, I'm inside. And then when the engine's off, then we swap.
Okay. Okay.
There's a logic to it. So let's go. Dana, lead the way. Right there is the chalks we made.
So I put one of those blocks under each one of the jacks, and I get them under there, and then while Brad's dumping the bags and putting the jacks down and auto leveling, I go around to the bays and start pulling out the mat, the chairs, everything that I can get to as quickly as possible before the slides come out. That way I don't have to battle with the slide while I'm getting it out.
So and when they're saying dumping the bags, for those of you maybe who don't know, this thing has air ride suspension on all axles.
Yes.
And so when they dump the bags, you basically let the air out of your suspension. It will let your camper settle, what, 6 inches probably?
Probably.
And so that just makes it stable. Then you pick it back up, and what it's doing when you do that is the air system's not fighting the hydraulic leveling.
And in this system, you actually have an air leveling system and a hydraulic leveling system. And we only use there are two schools of thoughts, but we only use the air leveling system like when we're doing a quickie and we just stop for overnight, where we don't have to fight with the jacks, we'll do that. But on a stay that's more than 48 hours, we always use hydraulics. It still makes the RV more stable.
Your setup's probably pretty simple then. So
Yes.
so you're doing your water and your electric like everybody else does.
Yep.
I hook up the electricity like as soon as I get done pulling stuff out while he's putting the slides out. I hook up the watchdog and the electricity. I usually let him do the water though because he's got this, you know, those all this like stuff that he puts on there. So I just let him take care of the water after we get done. After I get done doing my outside stuff, I go inside and start setting up the inside, and then he takes care of the water.
I just want to point out something real quick. You know, you spend all this money on a really nice camper, and you have the shittiest garden hose known to man.
You're right. I didn't spend a lot of money on a really expensive garden hose.
They're the same price as a good garden hose.
Well, here's the thing is, apparently when I was buying RVs, they kept giving me new sets of hoses, and I have two of these hoses that have not been used, and I'm on my second set because I gave the first hose to someone else. So when I duly feel like I've used it enough, I will donate it to the next RV guy.
We are going to start a GoFundMe for approximately $35 so that we can buy Brad a good hose.
So yes, everything goes through the water bay. The electric cord is on a power reel right here, and I'll open it up for you.
That's the one thing that I miss about a Class A, is that everything is just right here. And I think that makes your setup so much easier.
And it does, because it's pull, attach, unattach, roll back, and it makes it easier. It also makes it easier to manage the dumps. There's enough room for your sewer hose. Everything you need is right there.
How long does it take you to set up? What do you think, Dana?
Less than 10 minutes. And what I do is I go to the back of the rig and I put the rear slides out first. Then I work my way to the front and we do the rear slides. And by the time I turn the engine off, we literally swap. She'll come inside and get the bed set up, everything else set up. I'll go and I'll finish putting the mat down, pulling the chairs out, pulling the cooking equipment out. But it's really not a long process.
What is this?
That is the escape hatch that's built into the RV in case you have a fire. You don't have to go all the way to the front. You can escape through the hatch right here. This is our campsite. This is a beautiful day and it's cool, so our awnings are not out. That's relatively easy to put out, but we have all the space. And then how we normally do stuff is chairs and cooking equipment are here. We have an exterior cooler right here, and the rest of it is little storage, but the majority of the stuff we get is in the front two bays.
I will say that like the Class A's are by far probably the easiest setups out there. They do so much for you. You just push buttons and let the camper do the work.
And they are, and if you are on a relatively flat site, the automated level system can do. And if you're on a site that's not level or you're having stretch, you have to kind of do it manually. And I guess a lot like you do, try to find what the level is. But 99% of the times, I just hit the auto level button, and the brain and the coach does the work.
The brain.
The brain. That is the brain. That is the brain.
The coach. And then Brad just kind of like,
let me know when it's safe to come outside.
And I say, pour me a drink while I'm out here doing all the work.
So what do you do for like when you walk around? Like when all this is done, we're leaving tomorrow. Like what does your walk around look like?
So what I typically do, and just like we talked about, is we will go in and start the engine, and it's going to take a minute for the airbags to fill back up. We'll pull the jacks in. I do the slides in reverse. I do the rear slides first and this. And then Dana will do all the last minute checks. She putting her hands on the door and the refrigerator. And what I do is I come through, and a lot of people focus what I call the belt line down from the tires down. Not only do that, but I look at like where the slides are. I look up, I look at the awnings to make sure they're all the way back. What I'm looking for is what is out of place. So I go around that. And then the last thing I do when I know the coach is fully level, I will literally dip down and look at the hydraulic jacks and make sure I can't see any silver, the cylinder. And then the last thing I do, because I'm very anal, I did it yesterday, I make sure the whole front cap is clean. I don't want any bugs in my windows. I don't want any distractions. So while I'm driving down the street, I just focus on what's in front of me and that. But the 99% of what I have learned,
Don't forget about
is the awning, the dish. You have to put the dish down. So there's a lot of times I literally put a yellow sticky on my steering wheel that says, dummy, don't forget about the dish, and to make sure the dish is down.
Have you driven off with it up?
I have not, and you want to know why?
We have watched people do it.
We have watched people do it, so it is embedded in my head. Never, generally the night before we leave, I put the dish down. You know, the other thing I look for is abnormalities, particularly around the tires. I try to look for anything that's out of the ordinary. If you get in that habit of looking at the same things over and over again, you'll notice something out of the ordinary. And that's all I'm trying to do, is find something before it becomes a problem.
I tell everybody that the more you look at the camper, the more you notice when things are out of place.
Spot on. And that's what I'm looking for.
Last question I have for you guys is, you guys are like OG members of Base Camp.
Yep.
You were amongst the first in. What do you think?
Oh, we love it. Listen, the community that you guys have built not only is a great way to share. We talked about this. We're planning a trip this summer, and the first thing I did was post it on Basecamp and said, hey, we're going up here. If anybody has any suggestions of places to go or campgrounds, and it was like bing, 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 bing. So that helped us get a head start on our research. But the other thing is, you can put a problem out on our Basecamp, and you're not going to get one answer. You're going to probably get 10 answers about how people are jumping in and going, no, you should do this. We've tried this, it didn't work. So it's a great, not only a resource to help you camp, it's a great resource to find campgrounds. It's also a great resource if you're having a frustration with your trailer, your Class A, B, C. There's people out there who have been in your situation and are going to tell you real quickly how to fix it.
And we're all different lengths of time. We've been camping and RVing and stuff like that. So some people are, I think we're probably relatively new to it compared to some of the other people that are here. So we're learning a lot of things too. And I enjoy the calls, even though I'm usually working while the Zoom calls are happening. I enjoy just getting together and chatting and joking around. It's kind of funny because when we got here, I felt like we already knew a bunch of these people. It was really familiar. Yeah.
It takes the do I know these people moment, the awkwardness out of it. So yeah, and it really helps. And listen, just yesterday we were talking about Logan, and he's going to make a trip to Hilton Head, and he was like, can I get from here and not go through Atlanta, or how can I go through and get around the Nashville traffic? And I gave him an idea, you gave him an idea, but those are all ideas that aren't on Google.
So you're making friends.
Yep.
That's what it's all about.
It is. And this has been a great campground for us, because now we get to connect the people that we talk to once a month on our neighborhood chats. But now we know more about them, and then if they have a suggestion, they can also reach out to us. And it's great. Just the collaboration is amazing.
Well, like I say, you're more comfortable, and now you've met these people, you become more comfortable with them, and it's just I've said this before, like we can't, unless you're at like an LSU football tailgate that someone was going to start a YouTube channel on that never did it.
That's because we realized that what you do is a lot harder than it looks.
That's exactly.
Very quickly learned that what you guys do is a lot harder than it looks.
How'd they do? Well, guys, I appreciate it as always. Brad and I, we've actually got to know each other very well over the last few years, and we spent a lot of time together. So.
And Jarrett just tolerates me.
Yeah. Dana's actually my favorite. So I tolerate Brad for Dana.
Amen. I think most people do.
As you guys can see, setups are pretty much the same. It's pretty neat. Everybody kind of does things, whether in a Class A, C, travel trailer, fifth wheel. We all kind of do the same things, and it's really kind of neat to see everybody go through that process. Yeah, there's a few small details that are different, but at the end of the day, we're all doing the same stuff. So saying all that to say is, once you get your pattern down and your habits down, it's not hard, guys. So if you don't camp, get out and camp. And I want to say a big shout out to our base camp members coming and camped out with us this weekend. If it's something that you're interested in, we only really announce these things, our campouts, especially in base camp. We do have a newsletter. We do put some things out in our newsletter. I'll be honest with you, we're not great about doing that because we're just busy. And guys, base camp is more about just hanging out with us. People are making friends while we're camping. We do a lot of extra stuff. We do calls monthly. We have special guests. We have recently had Matt from Liquefied, or Matt's RV Review, wherever you know him from. He was on the call. We have some people come up next month that we're trying to get worked out. There's a lot of things that happen. We're learning about new campgrounds before anyone else, and it's just kind of neat how this is all working out, and it's all through our base camp community. So if you're interested in that, the link is in the description below. If you're interested in Twin Creeks, where we're all camping together this weekend, check out this video here. We did a full tour on this place. Super nice place, super relaxing. Check it out. Guys, we will see you on our next adventure.